let's have a chat about what true evil feels like. So when I first started to find out what I've found out about creation, destruction, what's true, what's false, what's real, what's fake. If you're watching this, then you know exactly what I'm talking about, don't you? When I first woke up, opened my eyes, had the veil lifted, however you want to put it, I had a nervous fucking breakdown. I had a few. And I'm glad I did too, because I needed to go through that process. It's almost like bereavement. It's almost like you're grieving, because you're letting go of a reality that never was. You understand? It's a very painful process. It should be. Like I said, if it isn't, you're probably not completely snapped out of it yet. It smarts like a mother, because it is the mother that's making it smart. Okay? Um, yeah, it affected everything, actually. Every part of me. At the time, it felt like I was um, being broken away. I was actually being built together. It forged me, as I imagine it's forged you. Um, Evil will do that to you. Evils of this world, from the king of this world, which is Satan, Saturn, Kronos, as I always say, the Grim Reaper. It's responsible for ego over any other sin, vanity, arrogance. As I always say, I don't like to use pride, because I believe goodness comes with a sense of pride. Evil comes with a sense of arrogance, and pride and arrogance are not the same thing. Okay? You've got pride and confidence on the right hand path. To you, it's probably my left, the camera's backwards. And you've got vanity and arrogance on the left hand path. Nothing feels more empowering than power. Okay? How many times have you felt so furious, so enraged, so angered, and as horrible, terrible, horrifying, terrifying as that may have felt at the time, made you feel superior, didn't it? Made you feel like you had something that could take away other things from other people, didn't it? You see how it gets you? Wrath. Almost as strong as ego, but the wrath comes from ego. You see? If you believe you're your own God, see, there's that word God, that's why I don't like using it. If you believe that, then you're going to start to feel like one, aren't you? Problem is, we don't know how a god would feel. So what do? We interpret it the only way we can, with a human brain in a human body. That's not going to tell you, and that's not going to show you what it is to be a creator. It's going to show you what it is to be a destroyer, because we still have sin in us by the proxy of being human beings. Do you see that? Therefore, the only way we'd know how to use that strength would be to abuse it as power, wrath. Do you understand? That's why it feels so good when you've got it inside you. The moment it's outside of you, you couldn't feel worse, could you? Because it makes you do things you'd never do, say things you'd never say. And when you do and say them, you don't feel the evil that's influencing you to do so, to say so. It's only after, isn't it? That's evil. That's what it feels like. Evil doesn't feel bad. Okay? That's not how it works. If it did, it wouldn't tempt people to want it. It only feels bad when it leaves, and once it's left, it's not evil anymore. Do you understand? The only thing you're left with after is regret. And if you live in regret, even if you've learnt from the mistakes you've made to not make them mistakes again, you're just going to make new ones, fresh ones. Because your regret will always leave you feeling unforgiven. And if you feel unforgiven, you're going to be overtaken. Okay? Because you're always going to be trying to fill that void that evil's left you with. How many times have you quit smoking, quit drinking, quit drugs? But because you've done it so much, you think, you know what, fuck it, I'm in a mood, you know? And so you do it, because you've already done it. You see? That's regret. It's guilt. You've got to get rid of that. Don't ignore it. Don't dismiss it. But don't let it fucking haunt you either. It won't do anything for you except take everything from you. And then you can't give anything to anyone else, including yourself. I've tried almost every drug on earth, and um, it's brought me absolutely no happiness whatsoever. I know a lot of people use cannabis, which I also have in the past, but it doesn't do anything for my OCD except make it worse. But at least it's more natural than other things. I bring that up because I've been asked a few times if cannabis is just as bad as other things, and I don't believe it is. Although smoking it is, for obvious reasons. just remember all that stuff. Uppers, downers, lefters, righters, it's all been sprayed. It's all been relayed with chemicals and toxins. It's all part of the beast system. And it's all temporal. You want something permanent, find something that feeds you rather than something you feed, and you'll have something that's permanent. It's about finding what heals you, not what hurts you. So how many of you have been thrown under this tsunami tidal wave that just tells you and shows you that you want to kill everything so that you will feel dead? I don't know how else to put it. That's how I put it. This overwhelming, underweening feeling where you just want to kill everything, everyone and everything, because by doing so, you know you won't get let down. You know you won't get betrayed. You know you won't get to have to feel loss, responsibility, heartbreak. You just want to end it all so that nothing will end. It's a very strange and very deranged logic. But when you feel that, it's logical. Again, it's only when you come out of it you realise how illogical and ill it was making you feel. That's evil. How many of you have ever felt that since your heart's been broken, why not just go and fucking break the hearts of others? It's happened to you. What makes anyone else special that it doesn't happen to them? That's evil. You'll feel it when you do it, because a part of you will always be screaming in your mind and in your heart. You heard that voice before? It's almost like the future you, maybe even the past you, talking to the present. I've had both. Little Sorrow's been going in here and in here, going, don't do it. Don't do it, mate. I know you're infuriated, and I know that you're enraged, that you don't want to do this. Why would you want to do to someone else what's been done to you? That makes you as bad as them. You heard that voice before? More importantly, have you felt that voice before? Like a song, a dance, going through you, trying to give you back your free will where you feel like it's being taken by the evil that's been put inside you that you want to put inside others so that they can feel how you felt. It spreads very quickly, and it always makes you feel that it's good, that it's righteous, that it's justified, that it's vengeful. Otherwise, you'd identify it, you'd detect it. How many of you have ever had something that confuses you so much, or scares you so much, or upsets you so much that it's made you drawn to it somehow? It's made you want to do it, to understand it. It's almost like because you don't want it to happen so much, like it would absolutely shatter your world if this specific thing was to occur. Because it's a last thing. You can't even bring yourself to truly, purely, really imagine it. Because the way it makes you feel, you don't want it to happen so bad that in a way you kind of do want it to happen. You ever felt that? You may have even acted upon some of them things, and afterwards, fuck me, you wish you hadn't. But it's almost like, no, it's not. It's not the same thing as temptation. It's not. Oh, I know I shouldn't do this, but I kind of want to. It's not like that. It's not like that. It's more like you're so disgusted by something, you can't help but be intrigued by it. That is evil. These are the things that I'm trying to show you can be tools for your toolbox. Okay? They are red lights shining on red tape. If you don't see these things coming, these things will come in. Okay? I'm going to pause it for a minute and get up a comment from a person who's allowed this shit to come into them. Okay? Yeah, alright, so I'm going to give you a prime example of an infected vessel, okay, that hasn't managed to stand resilient to um, their chalice filling up, okay, rather than pouring it out down the fucking toilet. So I do a lot of poetry along with my sculpting, um, and I've been putting a few of my poems up on my channel as live readouts. I always feel more confident speaking them rather than reading them, and I like the idea of being able to use my hands and my expressions and my tone of voice. I believe they can be ways to mould the art of poetry in ways that words can't. To the point, I did one called Shackled to the Shade, which was a poem on Satan, and I did another called Attire, which was a poem on reptilians. So this infected vessel chose to comment on them both. Okay. First, it was the poem on Satan. So I imagine I hit a nerve because if this person was so sure in what I'm about to tell you that they told me they were, then they wouldn't have needed to comment at all. I'll try and do the voice because I've never met this person. For the glory of the red dragon, the world shall be changed for the better in its own image. Poems will not stop it. Thou confused son of the red dragon. Yeah, he's one of them, right? I thought I was being trolled. I was laughing my arse off. And then when I got the second comment on the second poem, I realised that this person was for real and probably needed help even if they weren't seeking it. And so my laughter dried up and my intellectuality moistened up. I don't take the piss out of people who are piss takers. I think actually I know that they wouldn't be saying these things if they were sure. Do you understand? The surety leaves one to walk down the road and not have to flex a muscle or swag a shoulder. You know what I mean? The loudest ones are the weakest ones. And once you know and feel what your soul tells and shows you, you don't need to lift a finger, let alone speak a word. So, I said back to this comment, I am a son of the Creator, so are you, deceiver, so is the Red Dragon. If you truly believed that his false glory was unstoppable, then you wouldn't have felt the need to leave this comment and try to discourage others from the truth. I wish you the best in finding your way. Okay, now I meant that. I weren't trying to patronise the poor boy. I meant every word. It's the best way to be. Not only honest with the attack of evil, but as I said, never hate anyone. Pity them. Don't hate them. Okay? Hate is weight. And you've got enough. You don't need more. Okay? Yeah, so I'll read you the other one quick. But as I said, I don't hide behind a computer screen. Which is why I show my face. And I'll never lay into someone online because that, to me, shows nothing but unsurety, which I would imagine is what led this person to comment again on the other poem. He said, "Embrace the holy infernal," the voice. "Embrace the holy infernal. Embrace strength. Embrace power. Embrace the red dragon, for it shall change the very fabric of ye existence unto the Father of all glory." Yeah, so instead of trying to spout self-righteous drivel and spiel, I thought I would, again, just try and be honest, try to help the silly bugger. So, I replied, "By embracing them things, all you are doing is consenting to sodomy, rape, murder, and the betrayal of the entire human race and every child sacrificed within it. That is what the Red Dragon stands for, brother. Hatred towards anyone that isn't him. If you are a human being, you are his enemy, no matter how much you follow him and at the very last moment the dragon devours his own worshippers for being so bold as to think for a moment they may have shared his place and wrath. He is the father of lies, not of glory. Do not be drawn into his false light and strength and power. False light of strength and power. If he could not turn himself into a god, he cannot turn you into one. Please believe me, I know of which I speak. Heed this warning, as to follow him holds the most dire of consequences. Now, I really do know of which I speak when I say that. As I've said before on here, I try and give full transparency. And I don't like saying that. Most people say that are fucking shills, okay? I won't be as transparent as I'd like to be, which is exactly why I try my hardest to be. You understand? So, I've gone through this shit. I've been this person. That's why I'm trying to help him. Do you understand? Because he fucking don't. I never got reply to either of my replies. So, hopefully it helped. I certainly weren't trying to make it hurt. You see, I'm not an argumentative person. I'm a very stubborn person. But I'd never tell you you're wrong because I think I'm right. If I think I'm right, then I'm not. Do you understand? You shouldn't have to think it. You know it, right? You feel it. If you have to think it, you're wrong. You know? So, once it's in, because you didn't see it coming, it's very hard to get back out. So I really hope this person did heed the warning. Because evil doesn't give you one. Ever. Yeah, so, what else did I want to mention on the topic of what true evil feels like? It is a feeling. That's why I said what true evil feels like. That's why I'm calling that title to the video. That's why I'm going to call it that, because I believe feelings put thoughts in you. I don't believe thoughts put feelings in you. So, the most, I don't know, the atrocities of the mind, I always believe, start with the atrocities of emotion. Okay? That's not to say that it was within your heart or your mind to begin with. I don't believe it was, whatever it may be. But your heart and your mind do have the capacity to be infected by it, because we're human. We're sinners, but it doesn't have to stay that way. Okay? And that's what I'm talking about. When you give up and you give in, you go, you know what? Everyone else is fucking evil. I've got to be evil to survive. No, you don't. The moment you do that, you're them. Do you not see that? You are them. You are not you anymore. Don't let them win. Don't let them win. There is nothing more sad and there is nothing more tragic in this life to me than the loss of innocence. Innocence can be taken, which will leave you lost and lead you to become more lost, right? But the latter, is worse. You can't stop the evil inside people from taking your innocence from you, right? But you can stop the evil from people making you take the innocence from others. You follow me? Don't follow me. Follow yourself, your heart and your mind. Why do you think, why do you feel, why do you know that when people go under trauma, children, they usually, not all the time, they usually come to a point where they end up repeating it onto others as they had it done onto them. You get it? It goes both ways. Goodness and evil. Do unto others as you'd have them do unto you. It also goes, what they've done unto you, do unto others. I don't agree with that. I don't think they agree with it either, the people that do it. They just don't see any other way because they're lost. You see? That's what evil truly feels like. You have no control, but it makes you feel like you're in control. And that's why you're always left with the regret and the guilt after. So to me, that is what brings me the most sorrow. The loss of innocence. That's why I do what I do. I'm trying to protect the young, the youth, the kids, the children. Because no one does. Not anymore. I'm sure you do. As much as I'm trying to do. I've got a son I want to meet someday. I'm leaving these for him. To hopefully educate him the way I was educated. I didn't have a father either. I'm doing my best, guys. I really am. It's not easy. But then again, I wouldn't want it to be. Once you give away your goodness and replace it with evil, very fucking hard to get a refund. Okay? However, once you give over your evil and replace it with good, you won't need a refund. That shit never breaks down because it's always given. Evil's always taken. You see? It takes everything from you so that there's nothing left. Therefore, you have to take from others to fill what isn't there. Do you see? When you help others, you help yourself. And that's the one thing that nobody seems to know. Won't be a minute. Yeah, so always remember and never forget that the things that you instinctively know and feel to be wrong, even if a part of you is drawn to them, tempted by them, excited by them, attracted by them, doesn't mean it's how you actually feel, what you actually know, who you truly are. It'll always make you think that it is. Don't think. No, feel. All the time you think, it can convince you. It can influence you. It can manipulate you. That's why all these Satanists and Luciferians always say you're fighting your own nature. Give in to what you want to do. Do what thou willst. But what you'd be doing, you wouldn't be doing if you hadn't let it in. Because it's not who you are. It's who it's made you think you are. Oh, I've got these thoughts or these feelings. I must be a paedophile. I must be a rapist. I must want to murder. Do you see what I'm saying? Whatever the sin is, if you are a sinner, you're susceptible to it, aren't you? The same way if you are a human, you're susceptible to being a sinner. But you're also susceptible to being a human being. To be that instead. Evil might be lived backwards, but if you live evilly, you're living backwards.